Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Today I'm bringing back my little series called Epic Game Reviews, where I used to review games that became free on the Epic Game Store. Now that I'm not so much of an Epic gamer, I'm turning this series into a general review series. And before I get started, I just wanted to say two quick things. For one, this video is being recorded in two separate recording sessions. So if like the intro of this video sounds really low quality and then like everything else past this sounds really good, that's why. And number two, the audio might be a bit loud at the start of this video, so sorry about that. Anyways, welcome back. Hello, I'm back. This video is going to be a video reviewing the game Project Mercury. No, it's not a game about that Russian thing, rocket thing. It is actually a Metroidvania. Well, it's not Metroidvania because it doesn't have the same aspects of Metroidvania games, but it's inspired by Metroid, obviously, from the look and feel of the game, and from Castlevania. Let's just read a little brief excerpt from my Metacritic review of this game. So the excerpt from the Metacritic review that I wrote basically describes this whole game. Project Mercury is a very challenging platforming / side-scrolling shooter game. Project Mercury draws mechanics and inspiration from retro games such as the early Metroid games for its layout and feel, and Castlevania for its challenge and story. There is a large variety of enemies, some have interesting challenges, others simply float there off-screen, waiting for you to jump towards it, then it kills you, which is really annoying. This game is very unforgiving, however you do have some solace. There are infinite retries and many weapons to squash the bugs, or the Mercuries, whatever. The game doesn't have much of a story, which I'm going to talk about later, or good achievements I encourage you to play. The only reason I wanted to keep playing was to conquer the challenge of this game. I feel like this game would be more fun if it had more secrets and achievements, as well as an actual story. So that really describes what this game is all about. Now let's go on to a review. I will be grading this game in 5 categories. For one, story, which I'm going to talk about first. Secondly, gameplay, probably the most important part. Third, sound design. Fourth, movement and general movement. And fifth will be controls and feel of the game, like the atmosphere and how well the game controls, if it's very clunky or whatever. Now anyways, let's get on with it. Oh, I almost forgot to explain the scoring system. If you've seen my other Epic Game Reviews videos, which you probably haven't, you'll know how it works. But if you haven't, here's how it works. Every category, all 5 categories, will be graded out of 10. And then the whole game will be graded out of 10. So, if I rate something in a category of 5 or above, that's 1 point to that category and to the whole game. If I rate a part of the game, an 8 or more, that's 2 points to the overall game. So I didn't explain that well, so I'll just give an example. Let's say there's a game called Super Fortnite 2. If I rate the story in Super Fortnite 2 an 8, then that would be plus 2 points to the whole game. And if I rate the gameplay in Super Fortnite 2 a 7, that would be 1 point to the overall game. Anyways, let's get on with it, with the review. I didn't say that well, did I? Anyways, let's get right into it. Okay, so I wanted to start this review off on a high note, and that high note is the atmosphere and the controls. This game is decent to control. Honestly, if this section was just the controls alone, I think it would probably be a bit not that much of a positive point, if I'm being honest. But luckily, this section is saved by the atmosphere and the fact that the game knows exactly how its controls work and puts that to good use. Well, what do I mean by controls? How well the game controls. Is there input lag? No, none at all. Are the default controls good? No, not at all. But Does the game know how players will control it? Yes. The game really plays into its control. There's this one segment that you think would be super hard. It's basically where you have to. Oh god, there's so much background noise. One second, I have to move the microphone. Sorry about that. Oh, that's better. Okay, sorry if you can hear like lawnmowers now. I'm picking up a lot of stuff. I just looking at the sound waves and oh god. Alright, what was I saying? Oh yeah, the game knows exactly how you're gonna control it. For example, this is kind of hard to describe, but there's a segment where you have to jump, basically a gap, and there's one block you have to land on, a one by one, just one little block. Because the controls are so unslippery, they basically stop exactly when you stop holding A, or whatever button you're holding. So that gap, I've only died on it once, and it looks like the hardest platforming bit in the game, but it's so easy. The game knows how you're going to control it, and the game knows how it controls. I think this basically brings the controls up a high level. Like, what did I just say? I think this really brings the controls up to like a really good level, at least in my terms and objectively. Also, the atmosphere is quite good, despite the story not being good, so you don't even really know why you're in the places you are, besides a very vague mission. The atmosphere still manages to pull off a convincing retro-esque Metroid planet-like area. It's just, if you're looking at the footage right now, I might be on a hover bike. I don't know, I'm watching my sound waves, not my footage right now, which is kind of bad, but, anyways, the atmosphere is just, I don't know why the game sells the atmosphere so good. I don't. It's just all the colors blend together well, and the enemies really contrast the color scheme of the background. You can tell where they are, you can tell like what they are, what type of enemy they are, and just the atmosphere is good. The music, which plays into atmosphere, I'll talk about later, but the music fits with the theme and atmosphere of an old retro planet shooter, kind of like Metroid. Yeah, that's for the controls. But I'm gonna have to get on to a more negative part now. Let me check my script. Let's see what I have written about story. None. Before we talk about the story of the game, controls and atmosphere are a great 8 out of 10. Gets held back a bit by the trashy default controls and bit of awkwardness when you're first starting out, but really the controls and atmosphere are good. If it were up to me, I'd give them like a 10, but I'm trying to be as objective as possible. Now, let's get into the story. For real, my script isn't blank, but let's see what I wrote. Not much of a story, but that's okay. It's okay if there's not much of a story. This game doesn't really need a story, but at the same time, I'd like to know I'm shooting these alien things on this random planet. The most story it gives you goes like this. 4 commanders, which, well, if you play the game, you know there's 4. If you, in the entry scroll, it doesn't tell you there's 4, but you just have to play the game to figure that out. It says that 4, once again, if you know there's 4, you have to play the game to figure out that there are 4 commanders who have gone missing. It is your mission to determine their fate, as well as put a swift end to the Mercury menace. Yes, the Mercury. Yes, the Mercury, not the Metroid, the Mercury, like the planet, like the god or whatever. So that's basically the whole story. Once you go on and get into it, there's some commander guys, they're like alive and they give you stuff and talk and stuff. It's great, but there's still not much of a story to be had here. And honestly, if this game had no story at all besides the entry crawl, that would be great. But it should have elaborated a bit more. Maybe I'm sending mixed feelings, like, should it have more of a story or should it not? I think that it should have a story at the start of the game. You should be told why you're on this planet and why you're shooting these random aliens. I want to know when I'm playing a side-scrolling shooter game or any shooter game at all why I'm murdering these people. It's you know what I mean? You have to have a reason, and the recent Call of Duty games have not been doing a good job at this. To like kill people. They are bad. People are bad. Their intentions, I don't know, bad. So go kill them. And that's kind of what this game feels like. Except it just doesn't explain why you're killing them. It says a new threat has emerged. New threat? What? So these things just, I knew all these like 20 different varieties of enemies, which is really cool. There's a lot of enemies. Have just appeared. These giant boss monsters have just appeared. They've evolved in seconds. I think that or this is a planet where these things exist, which humanity or whatever race these things are haven't explored yet. If it was, then I think they should give us more insight into that. Overall, the story is pretty bad. What's there, you may ask? The little shred of story that there is. If you want to know what happens, play the game. I'm on like Commander 3 at the time of recording this little segment, and it's a really challenging game. I'll talk more about that in the gameplay parts. It's really challenging, and it took me forever to get past like the first stage. And hover bikes are fun. Anyways, the next thing I'm going to talk about. Oh, I keep forgetting to do this. I just keep rushing through a video. My score for the story is a 5 out of 10. It just barely skids by enough to get 1 point out of the story category. If you want to learn about the Mercury, go on Wikipedia, even though anything about Project Mercury is just about Sputnik 2. Alright, on to the next point, which is movement. The next topic, thing I'll be talking about in this game is movement. I'd consider there to be a few types of movement, but the ones I'm going to be talking about now are jumping, general on the ground movement, and hover bike movement. All movement in this game is not slippery at all. You jump and then you hit like the back button, like say you're holding A and you jump and you just lightly tap D, you stop. There's no slipperiness. Now, I don't know, I personally like this in some occasions, but in other occasions it's just not that good. I mean, it can really just make it feel really unrealistic how you just suddenly stop, don't skid at all, don't keep moving at all. You lose all your momentum instantly, and you can basically gain all your momentum instantly. There's no like acceleration period and stuff. Now, this is all up to the person. Personally, I don't really like this. It just makes the game feel a bit off in some ways. There are some places where this comes in handy and it's really cool. It's like the 1 block jump, and also shorter when you jump and you want to pull back, like you didn't mean to jump or you're about to fall, you can pull back instantly. Other than that, I don't like it. Next up, hover bike movement. Hover bike movement is what you would expect. You can jump, you can move. It's faster than normal on the ground movement, and it also feels a lot better since it's a bit more slippery, and in most sections the hover bike's just constantly moving. And third is jumping. Jumping is okay. You have a reasonable jump height, at least I'd consider it a reasonable jump height, and you don't jump very horizontally. You can go like 3-4 tiles, maybe 5-6. I don't actually know, I'll have to check that. But you can't jump very far. I don't know, jumping's alright, just like hoverbot. I've been working on my game too much recently. Hover bike. Honestly, I don't know what to give the movement. It's definitely not a 10 out of 10, but at the same time, I don't want to give the movement 1 point. It's all up to the person. To some people, the movement could be a 5 out of 10, 2 out of 10, 1 out of 10, 0 out of 10. To other people like me, it could be more of a 7 out of 10 and an 8 out of 10. So to be nice to the game, I guess I'll give the movement a very low 8 out of 10. You just managed to get by. Maybe if I personally, I don't know, okay? It's just a hard topic. You'll have to play the game for yourself and comment down below what you think of the movement. If it was up to me, I'd give this movement like a 7 out of 10. But honestly, a lot of people may like this instant stop, and it might remind you of older games. So, yeah, that's the movement. Now let's get on to gameplay. Objectively, the most important part of every game, unless it's a telltale whatever game, then it's story. Anyways, let's get onto that. Gameplay is the second to final topic we'll be touching on inside of this game review. After I went over movement and all that other stuff, like story and controls. By the way, next game review, I'm probably going to change controls and graphics. We're ready to go on to gameplay. Objectively, the most important part of any game. Not necessarily the best part, as I started saying. Now, the gameplay inside of Project Mercury is very simple. Oh my god, my dog's barking, sorry about that. However, it is very hard to aim, and the jump isn't that good. The combat is very unrewarding. Basically, you shoot little aliens, and if you're watching my gameplay footage, by the way, you'll notice I skip like 90% of the aliens. And the reason for that is there's no reason to shoot anything unless you're invested in the trashy story. There's no reason to kill anything except for one like enemy, and I think it's level 2, maybe level 3. You can basically, and the bosses, you can almost complete the game as a pacifist, like killing all the bosses and one enemy on level 2 that like circles a platform. It's just very unrewarding. No reason to kill things unless it's directly blocking a path and it's really hard to get over. And I also mentioned that shooting is hard to work and aiming is hard to do. These basically fall into the same category. While aiming, you basically have to hold down X, then hold down C, then hold down like WAS and D, or WA Control D for my. What the? Hey guys, sorry about that. I realized I was too far away from the microphone. So anyways, as I was saying, the aiming system isn't that good. It reminds me of Metroid, except when I played, what was it? I forgot which Metroid one, but it was the one with the X parasites or whatever. I literally forgot the name of that. I don't know, the one with Dark Samus or whatever. It's kind of like that, except that aiming system is good. This one is kind of trash. And I kind of said something about the shooting being bad. Well, that's only while you're aiming. The shooting feels very good to shoot, but when you're aiming, you have to double tap C to start shooting. And for me, that's a big inconvenience. I just want to be able to hold down C and mow down enemies. For some reason, you have to double tap it. Maybe it's something I'm doing wrong, but I can't find anything in settings, and I've tried it a lot. I don't know what's up with that. And then I said something. Oh, I just realized what I meant. I said empty vessel enemies in my script. I meant empty vessel character, as in the character is an empty vessel for you to fill. And I mean, I think this actually works with the gameplay. It's kind of like, I don't know, I'll give an example. In Fallout 3, well, Fallout 3, I'm not sure. Sorry, in Fallout 4, it's like shoved in your face, and you have one goal in mind. But in Fallout 3, you're an empty vessel character. It's supposed to be like that. It's a role-playing game. Let's see, what else? Well, there's a lot of games that has that, so it's nothing special. Also, a small gameplay thing that I really like, you can tackle the levels in any order. Just any order. So you could like, well, you have to do level 1. So you could do level 1, then instantly go to level 4. Or you could do level 1, go on to level 2, 3, 4, whatever, in any order you want. Obviously, you might need some weapons, or at least want to have some weapons from the earlier levels to use in the later ones, but still, it's always an option. Also, the game is, how do I say this? It's fun. Despite me saying that it's not rewarding the shoot and mow down groups of enemies, I mean, it is satisfying to do that, but despite me saying there is no reward for combat, the only reward that I could find was that it's fun. It's fun to play. It's fun to shoot these amoeba primes, whatever, those little cell things. Yeah, I mean, I guess for some people, kind of like the people who enjoy Doom Eternal, murder is the reward. That sounds really messed up. Oh my god. Jesus. Okay, now I want to talk about one more thing with gameplay. Yeah. It's a challenging game. It took me about an hour to beat level 1, and I still haven't technically completed the game, so maybe that devalidates my points a bit, but I also didn't complete Fez, or Kingdom's New Lands. I think I uploaded that. Maybe I took it down, I don't know. Or Hyper Light Drifter, which I'm maybe going to do an Epic Games review on. Maybe, that's a big maybe. I haven't finished those games, but I still know enough about them to review. Anyways, it's a challenging game. If you like challenges, play it. If not, don't play it. It is challenging. It channels Castlevania in its challenge. Except there's no whip. Instead, there's a basic blaster. It's very hard, okay? At least to me. For other people, they can blow through level 1 in like 2 attempts. But for me, it took me like, I don't know. It didn't take an hour. I think it took me like 30 minutes. 45 minutes. But it is a challenge. And people who like challenges, this is a game for you. People who don't play this. And I know I touched on a lot of bad points, but I like the gameplay personally. I don't think anyone's going to like the challenges, the tight controls, the movement, the enemy placement, which is really annoying if you watch my gameplay footage. And that's just a brief thing I wanted to touch on. As well as the amount of weapons. I needed to talk about variety. There's a few weapons, like the spread shot, the whatever shot. And there's a lot of enemies. At least in level 1, you get introduced to 3 enemies. Technically 4 if you count the amoeba crawler as a separate enemy from the amoeba prime. Basically the same thing. One just floats, one moves. And then after that, it's kind of like just a few enemies. A few get added. But the enemy variety is good. The weapon variety is not that good, to be honest. So overall, a gameplay... I can't give it 2 points. I just can't. It's a 6 or a 7 out of 10. Maybe even a 5, depending on if you enjoy challenge. For me, I'm going to rate it a 7. For other people, it might be a 5 because of the challenge. Anyways, let's get on the music. Okay, this video has gone long enough, so I'm going to make this quick. Sound design as well as music. Music is okay. It's kind of repetitive in the first level, especially when you die 10 times. And second level's music is basically just a remix of first level's music, but worse. And the pyramid level, which I think is level 3, yeah, it's level 3, has like such good music. I love it. And I could basically bring the music up to 10 if it wasn't for the sound design. The blaster shots and the other weapon shooting sound very generic and don't sound very satisfying. When you're mowing down enemies, pew, 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 and then you just hear pew, 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 like sideways blasters and something. As well as all the other sound effects, like enemy deaths are okay, I guess. A few other things here. Let me see what I wrote down. Sorry about this. The engage sound effect when you first start a mission is so good. I actually really like it, to be honest. I'm limiting myself to 2 minutes. That's why I'm talking so fast. But anyways, I'd say the sound design almost could be a 10, but I mean 8 or 9. But a lot of things hold it down. It sounds retro, which is on purpose. I think it really fits in well with the theme of this game, and that's good. But at the same time, some of the sound effects, like the blaster sound effect and even the engage sound effect, don't sound retro at all. They sound like they were mixed up in a synth, modern music generator thing. And despite me liking the engage sound effect, it doesn't sound very retro, and it doesn't fit in with the theme of the game. Also, level 4's music is not that good, and level 2's music is just recycled from a first level, but with some remixes. Level 1 and 3's music I actually like, especially level 3's, because it's the pyramid level, which I praised earlier. Anyways, the music and sound design is a 7. Oh, I did it in 2 minutes. But yeah, the music and sound design is a 7 out of 10. It's almost a 2. Overall, that brings this game to a 7 out of 10. I would, wait, did I get that right? I don't think I did. Oh yeah, a 7 out of 10. If it were up to me, I would probably rate this a 6.5 out of 10, but since this review is mostly objective, I would rate it a 7 out of 10. Anyways, if you enjoyed, like, subscribe, comment, do all those fun things. Maybe share with your friends if you really liked it, or if you want more epic game reviews, and this is the end card. Click on the subscribe, watch my other videos, watch the Epic Games review playlist if you want some more content like this, and turn on notifications if you want even more content like this delivered right to your little YouTube inbox. Bye.